All right. All right, let me just go ahead and start this. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you have to actually think about when you actually list a house. It's not like, hey, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and just start and just sell a house. No, not at all. You always have to be, first of all, you have to make sure that you qualify for the house. Second, you actually have to make sure that you're not only qualified, but do you have the funds? It'd be like, but no, with the sale of my house, I'm definitely going to be qualified completely. Okay, there's a lot of things that take this into play, and you have to consider that not only buying and selling a house is just like, oh, I have a house and that's it. Have you actually worked in the past 24 months? Are you, I mean, has there been any work gap histories or not? There's so many things that you actually have to think about before even thinking of putting like selling your home completely. And these are things that some agents don't even ask, but this is why one of the reasons I'm starting to make these seller seminars on a weekly basis, because it is really, really important. I've had buyers that they were previously sellers and they're like, hey, you know what, now where do I go? What do I do? And I'm like, you know, what happened here? I've been living 3 months in a hotel and I can't find a place. So in order to prevent that, there's so many things that we can actually do to actually say, hey, you know what, these are the things I want to help you accomplish. But at the same time is, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And do you really want to put that over 20% on that home? Now, okay, so let me go ahead and start the presentation. I did a pretty cool presentation here. So, you know what, pretty cool slides and all that, which is pretty awesome. Hopefully you guys can see it on Zoom later on, or not on Zoom, but on YouTube whenever I actually post it, which would be pretty awesome. I think it's at 5 here. Oh, let me see here. Let me see. I know I'm having a little bit of technical problems here. Well, I think it's not the it's not, it's me. It's not the problem. It's not the, let me see here. It's been a while. You know how long it's been since I've actually used PowerPoint? Since I was in college, let's put it that way. So it's really, really fun. It's really interesting, but it's basically, let me see here. I am trying to, oh, and by the way, my kids are home. So just in case my kids might not, okay, yay, I started it. Okay. So selling your home and how to get started and ready. What are the things you need to think and do before selling a home? So have you thought about getting pre-approved? Are you going to be using those funds? Oh, and by the way, my name is Cindy Presgraves. I'm a real estate agent and I am here in the state of Georgia. Okay, so I am also certified luxury home marketing specialist. I was just awarded top 5%, which is pretty awesome for 2022. I don't know how to calculate that or not, but just in case if you didn't know. I am with Cindy's Realty Group by EXP, and EXP is a worldwide company. That is my brokerage. So I'm also a member of the $1 Million Club, and I am part of Neymar. And I've been awarded the top 5% for 2021 and 2022, which is pretty awesome. Oh, wait. Okay, let me see here. All right, so step number 1, before actually, when thinking about selling a home, have you thought about if you're going to be buying your house cash or financing? Or have you thought about doing like, hey, you know what, I just want to keep this house and do a cash out refinance? I'm not a lender, but there's so many things that you can actually do. Like if you want to start building your real estate portfolio, we could definitely talk about that. I'm a high encourager about that completely, just because it is actually building for your retirement and building your wealth. But I'm also not a financial planner or not a financial advisor. I'm just a real estate agent. So in this case, what is your credit score? Have you had any type of work history gaps? So let's say, for instance, in the past 2 years, how long have you actually worked? Have you worked completely or not? It doesn't mean that when you have actually a house that you're going to automatically get pre-approved or approved for a new one. Completely not. And that's one of the things that you actually have to think about. Have you filed your taxes? Yes, I am actually asking if you file your taxes. And why I'm asking you this, because you might not even qualify for a house. So if you don't qualify for a house, how are you going to sell your new one? Are you going to move in with your parents? Are you going to move in with who are you going to move in with? Those are things to consider, because I don't want you guys to be homeless. So that's one of the things here. Okay, so another question is, how much do you owe on your current home? How much equity do you have? What is your interest rate? These are little things to think about and to ask yourself, how much do you want to put down for your next home? Do you want to put that 20%? Keep in mind, when you actually put that 20% or 25%, you're actually, when you actually put a 25% down, your PMI is waived, which is awesome. You don't have to actually, well, you can't see it because I am, let me see if this is the thing. Okay. You'll have to go through Zoom though. I mean, I'm not so sure how to actually do the, that's a good question. Let me see if I can actually pull this through and put this in. No. Let me see here. I owe you that for next time, for next week. I'll see what I can do on that one. Okay, so in this case, okay, so how much do you want to put down on your next home? So when you actually put a 25% down on your next home or on your current home, or your first time home, you never know, right? It's basically, what you'll do is you actually waive that risk factor, because the more money you put, the most likely they'll waive the appraisal too. And that depends on the lender though, because I'm not a lender, but Castle Lender is a lender and I've worked with him. He's pretty awesome. But in this case, once you actually put that 20% down, you don't have to pay PMI, which is pretty awesome. So now, are you ready to sell your home? Or do you want to grow your real estate portfolio? So it's not only about always selling, because it's just like, oh, I'm just going to sell and buy, sell and buy. That's a typical traditional real estate, transaction. But in this case is, now I'm a totally typical different agent. So I'm now telling you, how can you actually go ahead and grow your real estate portfolio? How can you actually build that wealth? And that's really important. And also, you know what, how much taxes do you want to pay for next year? Hey, you know what, depreciation is really good, is really important. And knowing on how you can actually keep that money moving all the time, it is very important too. So now the important and main question, have you spoken to your significant other about selling your home? Okay, in this case, if you have not talked to your significant other, it is important for you to actually start talking to your significant other. Now the major question in this market has been, where will I go next? Where will I go next? So where are you going to move? Believe me, don't worry about it. Let me worry about that completely. But now, what is your buying power? Okay, so now it's, what I do like about it is I like to getting you prepared and ready for buying a house and selling your home too. It's not about just like, oh, I'm just going to sell your house and now we got to go into major crazy, looking for a house and getting into the first house that you see. You don't want to do that at all. What you do want to do is being prepared. And believe me, it's not like a one-time thing, but it could take 2 or 3 years to actually get into your home and sell your home too. But it all depends on your situation. Some people are ready to sell. Some people are ready to, just take it slow. I've had a couple of clients that I've worked with them for a few years now, and they're like, hey, you know what? Let me just take my time, like I have a client that they're going to be listing their house in 2023 because their son is actually graduating from high school. So that's one of the reasons. So I'm like, okay, but you know what? During that time, their house keeps on increasing equity. That is really, really awesome. The other day I was looking at it, is 900,000. That's amazing. Beautiful house, beautiful property. I mean, they just changed the roof. I went and walked through them. We actually acted like back then, like it was like if it was a buying power or not. I mean, buyer's market. I'm like, well, you know, closing costs and all that, but I don't know how the market's going to actually be doing next year. But with everything that we see, then that's awesome. Okay, so now what I want to go ahead and actually ask you is, what is your buying power? Okay, we already talked about that. Now getting pre-approved, and why are you should get pre-approved. But think about all these questions. Are you ready to buy that next house? And how are you going to buy that next house? There's a lot of how is your credit score? Did you file taxes for 2020 and 2021? I know this tax season is coming around the corner, and it's almost like, okay, we are almost a month away, but that is amazing. Okay, what do you want in your next house? Have you imagined about being an HOA? No HOA? Do you want new construction? Do you want to resell? Where do you want to be? Do you want to move out of state? A lot of people are moving out of state, and a lot of people are moving more into the rural areas, and a lot of people are building. So these are things that are really, really important and good to know as well. So how many bedrooms, bathrooms, HOA? Like I said, no HOA. Must-haves. What are your must-haves? Another thing is you need to be a little bit more open-minded. And a lot of people are not going to go ahead and take that as a good thing or a bad thing. But where do you actually want to be? And some people will wait years, especially with those people that are looking for lake properties. They will wait for years and years and years. So some people will take 2 or 3 years. Some people are not. So it all depends. So I'm talking a little bit about here buyers and sellers completely. But in this case, ideal locations such as schools, counties. What is important for you? Is it the price? So if the price is important for you, what are you actually looking at? But are you willing to move out of that county, out of that state? So these are things that you also have to talk about as well. All right. So number 3 is, now let's talk a little bit about your house. Fix what needs to be fixed. You need to fix if you have a broken window, if you have a broken door, depending on what issues you have, be clear that you have, well, not, okay, in this market, yes, but it's always to have a high and presentable house, because the nicer it is, the top dollar you're going to get, the more offers you're going to get. And they're not going to be asking for things, especially in the inspection and all that. So it's really good to address that curb appeal as well. Neutral paint colors is really important. Don't have a red, don't have a blue. I mean, I recently, let me see here. I recently saw a house that it was like completely like dark blue, but I mean, it's that presentation that you want to see, the declutter and the personalize. So it's really important when you actually look at a property or see a property is, are you going to go ahead and you're going to start packing anyways, right? You're going to start getting, I like the medium gray. Okay, so I saw that in a house and it was like, wow. Also, I saw the mindful gray and it was like, wow. But that's also, I mean, those are really elegant colors. Those are colors that are actually on, like, people are using lots of gray. People love grays. So in this case, all right, neutral colors. You want to put it a little bit darker, a little bit not. It all depends. Have your home professionally cleaned. That is really, really important. And in this case, have your home professionally staged. Look, that's why you hire me. And I can actually go ahead and say, okay, these are the things that you need to do. This is what we can use. And, you know, that's a good thing. But if you don't have furniture, don't worry about it. Like, seriously, do not worry about it, because there's different ways that as an agent, I can actually help you out. There's virtually stage. Okay, yes, that can actually happen. And this is basically getting your house ready. All right, staging your home. Okay, so yes, like staging would be considered as decluttering, making sure that your house is clean. That's really, really good. Another, yeah, that's what I said. Like digital stage is virtually staged too, which is really, really nice. So in this case is, I mean, but we also have to make sure that saying, hey, this is virtually staged, especially when we're actually putting it on the market or on pictures and all that as well. But if you have a giant piece that you don't want it there, that can also be removed. So that's that is actually pretty cool. Most people are like, they like to see things like visual. And if they go ahead and they don't see it and be like, you know, I don't think this is going to fit there. And that's important because some people don't even have measurements or anything. So I can actually start with something else that is called the Metaport, which is pretty awesome, but I'll let you know in a moment. So the most common rooms that people are important are like the kitchen. Did I mention the kitchen? That is something that people love. Cost for staging, that depends on the house of size, size of a home. That is most likely, it could be $3,000 to $5,000, and depends on how long you're going to actually be in the house, and depending on the price point of the home too. Is it necessary or is it not necessary? It all depends. If you're talking about a new construction model home, that's a totally different story. But if you're actually talking about we cannot use your own home, then that would be like, would it be a good idea? Would it be not a good idea? It all depends. In this market, I haven't seen, you know, a house stay on the market that long. So let me say 24 to 48 hours. You put it on the market with your eye shots and it's just like, ta-da, you know, it's being sold, which is pretty awesome. So there's so many things to take that into consideration, but also what is your budget? Are you willing to pay for that staging? But are you missing out on that too? So if you go ahead and don't pay for that staging, that is something to be like, how much money are you going to be losing? Or is it really worth it? That it also depends. So the most common rooms that are staged included like the living room, kitchen, master bedroom, and dining area. That is basically some of the most rooms that are most likely important for people because, you know, living room, once you go into a living room, like, ooh, wow. Once you go into the kitchen, like, ooh, I like this. That is basically the most impactful rooms that actually people are going to look at. And the master bedroom, especially the master closet, is something that is really important, especially for women. And believe me or not, most likely men have more shoes than women. And sometimes it's been the other way around. But I mean, it's interesting. It is really, really interesting. So in this case, you know, I would say a medium of 10% of respondents cited that buyers felt homes should look the way they were staged on TV shows. Okay, people, let's be honestly on, yes. Yep. I showed a house on, was it Sunday or Saturday? And the husband had more clothes than the wife completely. Then I had another one that they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to have to make this big giant room into a closet. Yep. So you'll be surprised. Okay, let's really talk about HGTV here completely, because if we're talking about HGTV here completely, it's just like, look, real estate in the real world is not real. It's not like HGTV. It's not rainbows and unicorns like you guys think that it's out there. Nope. There's more to it than that. But in this case, all right, let's go to, we have two things. You can actually see how a house can look in the, like on the nicer, like this one is like staged. And this was like, okay, let's go back to the 70s. We're in the 70s show, people. So, I mean, what is going to be more impactful? Do you want something that you're ready? Do you want the person to actually look at something that is already like needs to be fixed, needs to be taken care of? Or do you want something really nice and it's ready to go? Okay, so here, what is really important for people? Usually, believe it or not, sometimes I like to take my time with selling a property because I can have them get ready. Getting a house ready to put on the market is not an easy task at all, especially if you have a lot of stuff. Meaning that start packing, start decluttering, start depersonalizing. pull all those family pictures out of the wall, start packing them. Now let's go ahead and talk about 4 weeks of strategic marketing plan. Now they have here in the state of Georgia, they actually allow us to do 21 days. And I think it's going to be changing soon to 30 days. I'm not so sure if that actually changed completely or not, but that is something really good for us, because if we have a coming soon, then that gives us more time to prepare. You'll be like, you don't need no time to prepare. Of course we do, because it's not only about like, oh, you don't need to market it in this market, but we do have a lot of people that are coming from out of state completely. So people that are coming out of state, you know, that would actually give them time to be like, okay, this house is going to be hitting the market. Now let's look at it. What are the other things that we can actually do to actually market your house to get the highest and best for your home, for your property? So in this case could be like you're worried about, okay, where am I going to go next, right? As wanting to, where am I going to go next? So let's go ahead and be able to create a plan. How long do you need to stay in that house? Is that house that you're going next, do you actually have to stay a little bit longer or not? How long will it be ready? There is a property that I actually closed on last year. My clients were out of state. We're not even supposed to go under contract. He just came to look at a house, the house that we thought that he didn't like. They didn't like it. And we ended up going with a beautiful house. This house has killer fixtures, like completely, like, wow. If you want to make an impact in your house, fixtures, oh my gosh, there's a fixtures and like light fixtures completely, and a little bit of paint. Believe me, it will completely change your house. It'll be like, oh, yep. So in this case, where I was going with this. Okay, so we had the marketing plan that is like 4 weeks, which is pretty awesome. But actually, it gives people time from out of state to actually come and see your property. So listing it 4 weeks, yep. And then that actually gives us time to market it, take pictures for you to pack, declutter, do whatever you need to do. And also it actually creates us, has this help to like do like a better negotiation tactics as well? Because I mean, you're seeing it for 4 weeks. People are like, okay, when is creating the anticipation, which is really, really important. And like I said, I mean, social media targeting, I am high on social media, you know, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Yes, Snapchat, people. It is not only just for snapping pictures. No, I mean, Snapchat has an amazing way of reaching out, like other people in the area, which is really, really awesome and pretty cool. So in this case, like I said, social media targeting and professional photography. You always want that agent to use professional photography. I can always tell you about the pictures that I see, like, oh my gosh, why do they use cell phone pictures? No, you don't want your agent to use cell phone pictures, people. You want professional photography. At times when it depends on how soon it is. So let's say, for instance, if I have a client that calls me within 24 hours and tells me, hey, I want to go ahead and have my property listed tomorrow. Okay, we can list it tomorrow, but you know what? I have my photographer works with me 24-hour time frame turnaround. I have to rush pictures and all that. That's not going to give me enough time for a video. So for instance, I have this property that I just actually listed. We had to actually do everything like ASAP. I usually take my videos come back within 2 to 3 days, sometimes a little bit longer, depends on how backed up that the photographer is. Cost of what, Louis? Pictures, professional pictures can cost around, that would be the agent. The pictures can cost between $300 and $2,000. It depends. Keep in mind, it depends on the property. This is not including video. It depends on, you know, normal video. I requested my assistant for a personalized video. I still haven't gotten it, but I got the pictures yesterday. So it's not a 24-hour turnaround when it's actually like when we're actually putting a house on the market like now. No, it actually takes a little bit longer than that. That's why I'm saying 4 weeks is just perfect. There's been this client that I have been working with She's still not my client. I don't know what she's going to do anyways. But it's going to be September. Since September, we talked about, and she still doesn't have her house on the market. She still doesn't have her house in the market. And in this case, this house was, it was being rented. And not only that, but this house was a mess. When I went to that house, this house had so much freaking trash. Oh my gosh, the trash that this house had. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right? So when I walked into the house, I'm like, you need to change all these fixtures, because when I'm telling you, these fixtures had grease and they're disgusting and it felt like yucky. And I'm like, no. She's like, but I can clean them really well. Yeah, I don't know about that. But I mean, and then the fixtures, when you walked into the bathroom, they were all like, I mean, you saw the paint was like coming out completely. These are like fixtures like when my grandmother, like in the 90s, like you can see the gold. I mean, like gold is coming back completely, but yeah, she needed to replace the fixtures. They still hadn't finished painting. They had to do, she had like some glass shelves. I'm like, you need to take that is a hazard completely. So there were so many things. And when I walked into the backyard, she had an abandoned car there that the previous tenants had there. And I'm like, so who's going to take care of that? She's like, well, I'm like, you got to get rid of that. So probably that's one of the reasons we still haven't listed her house. And I mean, when I'm telling you, hi, senior living specialist. So in this case, there was like I said, there was so much freaking trash. And that's another thing, that it's really, really important to actually make sure that you have a wonderful curb appeal, because if you don't have a wonderful curb appeal, who's going to take care of that freaking trash? Is it going to be the new buyers? Because the new buyers are going to ask that in the contract. Me as a good agent is saying like, please remove all debris from the property completely. So like I said, that's a totally different, yeah, that's like a special situation there. All right. So then now I've been working with this other seller for 3 years. Yes, 3 years. That would be quite a good question, but this is like a divorce situation. And there was like, he doesn't want to work with it. She doesn't want it, but she wants to have the car out. So you know what? They can take care of it between themselves. Whoever does it, then I'm not getting in the middle of it. I already talked to him. He's just a little bit hard-headed. That's a great idea. Scrap metal, especially with all the prices increasing nowadays, right? But in this case, all right. So now, when another thing to think about depends on what have been the maintenance that you actually have done in a home. And is it beneficial for you to actually do a pre-listing home inspection? Okay, so for these things, why is it important to actually do a pre-listing home inspection? Keep in mind that a home inspection is not always going to be like completely going to be telling you everything to the T. No, not at all. But it's going to tell you, okay, so what are the things that I need to focus on and to make sure that they are not going to come back in the inspection and say, oh, I want to negotiate this and this and this and this and this. Okay, people, I'm going to tell you something. So there's this property. It was 2 years ago. 2 years? Yeah, no. Yeah, it was almost 2 years ago. And we put it on the market. Like, this is like not even a 24-hour thing. I probably got this property 4 hours on the market. It was insane. We had pictures. I couldn't, my photographer was going to do my pictures and all that, but we got it on the market. We accepted the offer and all that. And guess what? On the inspection report, they asked that the buyer asked for $2,500 for, because he wanted oh my gosh, the screws to be screwed in. Yep, people, that is correct. He wanted the screws to be screwed in. And because of that, he was requesting a $2,500 seller credit. And I'm like, look, if you're going to do that, no, I will personally screw the screws in myself. And he's like, are you serious? Yes, I kid you not. And I'm like, we are not doing that at all. I'm like, I'd rather just go back on the market and say, hey, you get more for your money completely. Yep. They were requesting $2,500 for because the screws were not tied in completely. And when he saw that, the seller was like, because he was like, no, I'm going to give it to them. Like, no. Do you have $2,500 to spare? No, that would actually buy you a nice fridge. He's like, you're right. And I'm like, yes, I know. Yep. Buy them a bread. that would have been a great closing gift. Oh, yep. That actually really happened. So, I mean, these are like the scenarios of the importance of a pre-listing home inspection. And keep in mind that everything can be like, hey, you know what? Once you receive an offer, it doesn't mean that you have to fix everything. Everything's negotiable. It doesn't have to be like, oh no, I'm going to do this and this and this. No. Is it logical? If it's logical, yeah. If it's not, then forget about it completely. All right. So, and I mean, as a pre-listing home inspection, it actually ensures a smoother and more efficient transaction. So you already know what you're getting into. Like there's this property. Okay. Do you think going to a realtor suggested is okay? On this case, I always suggest three. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? There was actually a situation that recently happened. I don't even know if I should mention this one or not, but it was like a crazy story. Like the, it all depends. I mean, inspections are a little bit, when it's a pre-inspections, it's less expensive. So they always cut you a deal or so forth, depending on what it is. But it all depends on the condition of your home. Look, I list houses in my neighborhood all the time. And I'm like, look, don't even worry about that. No, because I mean, we're talking about a house that it was built like in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. I mean, that's what like, yeah, no, I mean, it's just like, and some of them still have a warranty on it. So yeah, I mean, and it depends on the age of the house. If you're talking about a 1960 home and I see like the house is like, needs to be completely, like the HVAC needs to completely change. I'm like, do I really want to do that? Or when was the last time you actually had your HVAC inspected? When was the last time you had your HVAC inspected? When was the last time you actually went ahead and changed your air filter? I'm waiting for your answer. Just wonderful person. Okay, he didn't answer, or he's probably typing. So how often do you change your filters? And that's another question, because something that I recently learned. So, okay, so I don't have the grill, you know, those grills, and I might be mispronouncing it completely. But you see those, oh my gosh, the vents, right? The air vents around the house. So I'm very OCD with those, like the vents around the house, just because I don't like seeing dust and I don't like them seeing gray neither. And what I do is I recently had it cleaned, the vent clean. So replace HVAC, roof, driveway, everything is new, sprinkler system. So what is your question with that? So do you have the receipts, and are they under warranty too? That's a good question. Because let's say, for instance, so then that's perfect. So what state are you in? I'm just curious. I changed mine last month, but I have not got the HVAC inspected in years. Oh, I lived in North Dakota for 10 years. What part of Minnesota? Can you tell the accent there in Minnesota? I do miss Tim Hortons. I know it's Canada. I'm not saying you're from Canada though, but oh gosh. But in this case, so yeah, I mean, it's basically just maintaining your house. And that's really, really important. So, I mean, yes, a pre-inspection saves you time and money. Let's say, for instance, there is a property that are like, oh no, you know what? We don't have, there's something with a termite. And I personally don't have a termite bond, but I'm telling you, do not follow my advice on this. I am not a pest control. It is up to you, and you can do whatever you want to. You want to have a termite bond or not? But I live in new construction, and I'm like, no, that's me. But I do have a regular pest person coming in every 3 months, which is pretty awesome. So in this case, I do have like I said, there was one that they're like, oh no, we had that they had termites in the state of Georgia. Yes, we do have termites. That is something that actually happens regularly. And that's really important. How often do you take care of your home? Did you know that when someone actually walks into your house as a realtor, well, in my case, I can tell how the person is once I walk into the house. Okay, so that explains a lot of things. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about listing a house. Okay, and it also saves you money too, because you know what, reducing the home inspection timeline for unknown items will result in more money in your pocket. Did you also know, I'm going to tell you about this, that when you actually list a property, you can actually go ahead and get a home warranty? Did you know that? And if you didn't know that, you can, don't ask. No. My son he just came back behind me and scared me. That's my 6-year-old. Okay, so in this case, sorry. In this case, with the whole inspection and all that, you can always get a warranty, a home warranty before that. So for instance, there is I was talking to another agent, and he's telling me, hey, you know what, the house flooded, and he always usually puts like the home warranty for that, for when he actually does listings. And what happened was that house flooded, and they had to go ahead and replace everything. So they had to do a complete remodel. They had to completely remodel the house, but it went through the insurance. But if he had the oh my gosh, the home warranty, that would have been covered by senior living specialist. So those are things to think about. So imagine that could actually save you money too. Oh, thank you. All right, professional photography. It is, like I said, I know I had mentioned this earlier, but it says like you can tell the difference between a cell phone photography and professional photography completely. And I don't know if you guys know about this whole thing about between, you know, when you swipe left and you swipe right. I like to compare this between dating apps and Zillow, Redfin, all these websites, because when you actually go to a house, sometimes it does not look completely like the house. It actually looks like a picture that you took. It does not look completely nothing at all. So that's really, really important. So I'm going to tell you about this. A real estate agent or a broker is neither trained in home staging or photography while pursuing and completing their real estate exam. So that's another thing to take that into consideration. A lot of people, I'm not selling just a lesson learned at my expense. What happened with the whole thing? Did you have to replace everything, or what happened there? I'm just curious to know. So some agents are they take staging courses. Like I have taken several staging courses, and I like that. I have had classes in photography, professional photography. But look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna spend my time on editing pictures. I used to do that at the beginning of my career as a real estate agent, but it takes so much time, consumes completely. So now I just hire someone that will actually take professional pictures and video for me completely. So I don't have to work that at all. And all right, 3D virtual open house. So a lot of people are still concerned about COVID, because they're still concerned about COVID. You have 1 hour. Go downstairs. Okay, so some people are still concerned about COVID. They don't want people to come in through their house. They don't want people to touch anything or so forth. This is another way of actually selling your home. It is called Metaport. It is a little bit expensive. It could be between $500 and $700, or probably a little bit more, depends. So in this case, it's a 3D of your whole house. So it actually does like measures your home. It measures your home, and it feels like if you're actually walking to your own home completely. And buyers are able to view that from anywhere in the world. And the beauty about it is that they can actually take measurements. It's like for furniture and all that, which is pretty awesome. Okay, I already talked about the repairs, home improvement, and decor, like repairing. Things that you actually have to look at and think about is repair cracks, holes, and chip paint. Those are some things that you do want to take care of. Okay, well, AC was constantly failing. The roof shingles were. Did you ever had an inspection made on that property, or what happened? I'm just curious, because for you to actually do, like, you know, if the AC was actually failing and the roof was actually had shingles and all that cracking, and it was a whole mess. When did you buy the property, and how long did you do an inspection? That's my question. Julian, you got to go out. Okay, so in this case, tighten loose knobs, towel racks, switch plates, and outlet covers. Fix tight doors and windows, squeaky floorboards, and loose stair banisters. All right, let's talk about a little bit of windows here. Some of these windows, I mean, some of the houses that I walk to, like if you have a broken glass, you actually have to replace the window. But there's another thing about this whole thing is if it's depending on what type of loan, sometimes they'll be like, forget about it. And sometimes they will be like, hey, you need to replace that, but depends on what type of loan. If it's VA or FHA, that's a totally different, completely total different ball game there. But if we actually are talking about like repair caulking, clean around the tubs and sinks, oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. Yep, realtor. So did you ever go with the inspector? Did you ever get an inspection? And did you ever waive that inspection? That's another thing. I used to be licensed in North Dakota, so yeah. I know Minnesota and North Dakota, they're actually reciprocal to with each state. It's kind of similar. Okay, remove water stains. That is really important too. Paint walls with light neutral colors, improve security by adding window locks and motion sensor lights outside. You actually want to make sure that all the light bulbs are working completely, because if not, I mean, like seriously, people, how much is a light bulb? How much is a light bulb? Let me leave it there. All right, when we're actually cleaning, organizing, and furnishing, all right, make sure that you actually, when you're actually getting ready for an inspection, for like listing your property, is like wash floors, walls, windows, ceiling, trims, and blind. Steam clean carpet and drapes. Yes, I was just uninformed or process like. So you didn't do the inspection? Is that what I'm understanding? So now my question is, okay, so I'm curious about this. So if you actually bought a house, and I'm not trying to be here smart ass or anything. I am just really, really curious about this whole thing here. So you got an inspection. So what happened? I mean, did you get a home warranty? What was like, did they disclose it? I can't remember right now if Minnesota has to disclose like the year of the property, or when was the roof replaced and all that stuff, but it's a different state. I'm in Georgia. I just want to know more. Okay, so I'm going to keep on talking about here. All right, so clean and organize the basement, attic, garage, and shed. Pull out all carpets, remove all all area rugs if they're covering hardwood floors, because this way it would actually make the room bigger, especially if like you have like carpet and rugs in the bathrooms. Yeah, completely. So pack away some belongings to maximize storage space for buyers. Consider moving some furniture and items into a temporary storage unit while you show your home. I mean, or you can always do that as the garage, people know that you're moving, right? Okay, so, well, you have 30 days to confront the seller with issues and found. That's it. Okay, so here in Georgia is a buyer beware state. So you need to stop. Like seriously, you need to stop and you need to take a shower. Go take a shower and I'll give this to you in a moment. And you better smell right. You better smell good. Okay, that's more than enough than here in the state of Georgia. State of Georgia is. But my question is, what did the inspection report say? So what did your agent say about all this? Was the agent representing, was it a buyer's agent that you had, or was it or did you use an agent? I packed your snack? No, you don't have to pay me snack. I have to put 3 snacks? Yeah. Okay, I'll put 3 snacks. All right, can you please close in my door and go take a shower, and then I'll give you the iPad. But I want me to open. All right, okay. Go. Can you not, because I'm here live. Okay, so everything. But did you ever? Okay, in that case, I always say 3. You need to have 3, or you can always get your own inspector. So what type of loan was it? Was it an FHA, conventional, or VA? Okay, yeah. But my thing is, if everything's, how old was the house? Okay, here we got. Okay, so here we have last minute open house preparations, if there is an open house or not. Sometimes there's not enough time to actually go ahead and market an open house. So that's really important. But if there's an open house, these are all the things you actually have to do. Because you want to make sure that the property is really clean and really nice and squeaky clean. And it smells really, really good too. This is what I was talking about, the curb appeal. So important, making sure that you have, it's really nice. Any type of trash or anything that is pulled away, it is taken away. I'm curious about that. Things have changed a lot. I mean, from 2000, talking about 22 years ago. All right, so this is where like the properties are going to be listed at in the MLS. There's 2 type of MLSs that I use here in the state of Georgia. Sometimes I use Savannah, depends on where I have my board. Julian, please stop. Go out. That holds all your property information and visuals. And I do have my kids in the back. He is talking to his dad. In this case, there is, 80% of the buyers come from searching online to look at their next home. I actually lasted 3 years for looking my first home here. So it's all searchable on by the public through, lots of websites. It's not only one website, there's different websites. Like MLS is searchable through the public through sites such as Realtor.com and Zillow.com. I have my personal website that is actually connected to the MLS and it's up to date, which is pretty awesome. So buyers have the ability to search homes through multiple houses in a faster amount of time by using an online real estate site, which increases competition, which is really awesome. And these are some of the websites that I use, but it goes a little bit more than that. Like, I think it's like Purple Homes and all that too. My own website, It's really, really awesome. This is like a really like DOS, like old website here. So, but, and if you guys have any questions or any answers, I've had a lot of people asking me questions. I've had great questions, great answers. So my name is Cindy Presgraves, and this is where you can actually reach me at. All right, I am going to. Okay, so in regards to the VA, it's because usually, so I know Minnesota, it's a completely military friendly area and all that, which is awesome. But when it comes to VA, usually they're supposed to be very, very anal, like the inspections and all that. And sometimes it seems like there's a lot of things that they're missing out on. And I've seen that recently. All right, and I am going to stop this. Oh, wait. All right, and we are done.